Here we are, here are Carl and I at the Cunningham Falls State Park, and we're right at the beginning of the Falls Trail that says start here. So we'll take some more pictures as we go up the trail and finally get to the falls. Okay, we've come up the trail a bit, and you will see rocks here which are among the oldest in the world. These rocks have been reprocessed from several 100 million years ago, and they have fallen down from a higher elevation. Because of the rain, you can see how green the vegetation is. And Carl's going to pan up the hill, and you'll have a look at the beautiful green color of the vegetation. We're now in the Catoctin Mountains. These mountains are the home to both of Maryland's poisonous snakes, the rattlesnake and the copperhead snake. The park warns people not to reach under rocks or behind rocks because it's possible that a snake could be coiled up there and a person can be bitten. To be bitten by one of the snakes is not necessarily or even likely to be fatal because of the closeness of medical attention in this area. This portion of the tree appears to be dying because the fungus is growing on it here, and you can also see it higher up on the tree. The tree is alive, but it's in kind of poor shape, and the fungus is beginning to take over. This is an ancient rock here in the park, and you can see that growing on it are both moss here and lichen. You might think that this plant is poison ivy, but actually it has more than the 3 leaves that are characteristic of poison ivy. This seems to be a type of tiny bamboo. This is most likely an ancient stream bed because you see all of the rocks that have been washed down by the heavy flow of water in this area. When these huge rocks are submerged in water, they displace the water, and their weight is correspondingly lightened. So even though it seems impossible that a huge rock would be brought down by water, the fact is that water itself is very heavy, and when it's displaced by a rock, then even though the rock doesn't exactly float, it gets to be much lighter being carried by the water. The Catoctin Mountains, where we are part of the Blue Ridge Mountains, which in turn are part of the Appalachian Mountains. These mountains are the oldest mountains above sea level in the world. At one time, they were the height of what is now the Himalaya Mountains, but over the millions of years of erosion, they have been reduced in size, and the tallest among these mountains now is only 1,800 feet above sea level. Most of the rock that you see here is called greenstone rock. It is a form of basalt, which is an extrusion from volcanoes that has been cooked and hardened, and this rock is very erosion resistant. A lot of it is covered with lichen and moss. This forest that we're in is called second growth forest because up until the 1930s, the forest was not protected, and the trees that had been here for hundreds of years were cut down. Consequently, there was a great deal of erosion. Then in the 1930s, law was passed to protect the forest, and trees and shrubs began to take hold on the eroded land. First to come were the quick growth trees such as poplars, maples, and sumacs and locusts. Then the slower growing hardwood trees moved in, such as the oaks and the hickories. What we see here are mostly oaks and hickories that have taken over from the faster growing trees, which are shorter and which have mostly disappeared. These are Cunningham Falls, also known as Big Hunting Creek. The water originates higher up and collects in streams, and finally comes here. From here, it flows into the Monocacy River. From there, it flows into the Potomac River, and the Potomac River flows into the Chesapeake Bay. Is covered with dead logs that have fallen over the years. But what you see is only a portion of what's fallen because the logs have decayed. You see here a log that is in the process of decay. It has fungus on it, and inside there's a lot of wood rot that's caused by organisms that digest the wood. This fungus and these organisms are essential to the health of the forest because without them there would be an accumulation of debris that would stifle the growth of the forest. And as the sun sets in the west, we say goodbye to the beautiful Cunningham Falls State Park.